Hello, and thank you so much for clicking and for watching this video. Apologies, I've not made a reaction video since the 1-0 win over West Ham in the FA Cup. I was going to do one last weekend, of course, after the West Brom game and then after the Real Sociedad game, but I'll just give you a quick run through of what happened. I work in education, so I was on half term and I decided that I'd go and stay with my parents, part of my bubble, my social bubble. And when I got to my parents, they came to pick me up. Live quite close. They came to pick me up, and then I got there and realised I'd forgot the tripod. I took my camera with me, and then I just decided after the West Brom game that you know what, I don't have enough. It's not quiet enough in the house for me to make a video. I can't take all my equipment with me. I managed to do a few videos at Christmas time, but it's not the easiest thing to do. So I just thought, you know what, I'll just do a roundup of the games, West Brom, Real Sociedad, and the game that I've just finished watching, which finished Manchester United 3, Newcastle United 1. So, quick run through of my thoughts on the game against West Brom last week. Really poor. I don't think we started well. And really, we were lucky to get out with a point. I thought West Brom set up really well. I thought they had chances in that game that, had they got better quality on the pitch, then they go on and win that game. I thought, again, the same things that we've talked about a lot throughout the season. Defensively, we look vulnerable, and there's definitely a fragility within this Manchester United team. And, up until that loss against Sheffield United, we knew these problems are there, but because we were kind of finding a way to win these games, we perhaps weren't focusing on it as much as we are now. Because I definitely feel like losing to Sheffield United has killed the momentum for this Manchester United team, certainly in terms of the league. Now, yes, we've won tonight against Newcastle United 3-1. We'll get into that in a moment. In the Europa League against Real Sociedad, I thought we were excellent, one of the best performances of the season. We've got a pretty poor record against Spanish teams, so to go away against any team and score 4 goals, but Real Sociedad, not a bad team. They're 5th in La Liga. Haven't looked at their results this weekend, but they were 5th in La Liga going into that Europa League game. Having a good season, pushing for Champions League football. Had a really good start to the season, and at one point they were sort of top 3 in the league, and they've just sort of fallen away recently. Thought Real Sociedad started that game really well, but I thought Rashford looked on it. I thought we looked sharp, passing was really good, looked composed on the ball, all that good stuff. We controlled the game, dictated the tempo. And we deserved to win, and 4-0 didn't flatter us. And I thought, fantastic, yeah, brilliant. But in the league, that is your bread and butter. And Manchester City now have a 10-point lead because losing that game against Sheffield United, then dropping points against Arsenal. Yes, say we beat Southampton 9-0, but as good as we were that night, it is a bit of a freak result. Those results are freak results. Then we throw away a 2-0 lead against Everton. Then we go back in front. Then it finishes 3-3 with them scoring with virtually the last kick of the game. Then last week, of course, West Brom, really poor. Tonight, we started really poor. Really poor. Now, you could say that might be a bit of a hangover from the Europa League. But I just felt like, the commentators kept saying, Jermaine Genius kept saying, I'm paraphrasing, kept saying, sometimes it takes like 20, 25 minutes to just get it out your system. But, we were poor for the first 45 and we were lucky to go 1-0 up. And then Newcastle, of course, they get that equaliser. And, I thought Newcastle were worth a point tonight up until we scored the second goal. And then, of course, we go on. Get the third goal. One of my main criticisms of this game tonight is that a lot of the a lot of our play was coming down the left-hand side, and that's fine, but we also have a right-hand side that we don't utilise. And I thought Dan James played really well tonight, but there was a point in the game where Dan James and Rashford were both on the left-hand side, so you've got all that space over there, and you're not utilising it. And when Mason Greenwood came on, I thought him and James, we did then work the right-hand side, and of course James's goal came from the right-hand side. So, I don't think Dan James is the long-term solution, down that right-hand side. But I definitely think that giving him more game time, he can make that position his for the rest of this season. And I think a lot of the criticism that Dan James has received from United fans, from just fans in general, saying, oh, he's not good enough to beat United, he's not a United player, never going to be a United player. He showed glimpses of his potential, at the beginning of his time at United. Then he went through a tricky spell, but in his defence, he wasn't playing consistently. And no player, I don't care who you are, I don't care what your name is, if you're not playing consistently, it's very difficult to just come on and have an impact. There are very few players that can do that. Ollie had that gift, had that knack of doing that, but there are few players that can sit on the bench, come on and just have an immediate impact on the game. You need a lot of game time, and he is getting game time now, and I think he's going to get more game time in the Europa League. I'm glad he got a start tonight. I'm glad it worked out for him. He got his goal. Of course, he scored against Real Sociedad. So I'm just hoping that this result now can push us forward, because we've got Chelsea coming up, and under Tuchel they have sort of, that result yesterday aside against Southampton, and I thought they were really poor in the second half. They have looked good. They do look sharp, and they will cause us problems. And I think I've said in at least 9 out of the last 10 videos, I've said I never thought we were in a title race. But Manchester City have this 10-point lead now. We're not going to claw it back. I don't see them dropping points anytime soon. I thought they were comfortable against Arsenal, and they were really comfortable against Everton, and they just look comfortable in every game. And it's frustrating, because even though I never truly believed we were going to win the league, I thought we were going to push Manchester City. But of course, you lose to Sheffield United, and that momentum and that confidence has slowly drained away. I do think we are lacking confidence. It's a great result tonight, and we did look more confident once we got the second goal. But it's it is a bit of a concern for me that we seem to have gone back a little bit in terms of how we're starting the games. Now, again, I don't know how much of that is to do with the Europa League. But to be fair, even before that Europa League game, we'd been starting games slow. We'd sort of taken a step back. I thought we were really poor against Sheffield United. I thought we started really slow against Arsenal. That was poor. Take the Southampton game out. Really good against Everton. But against West Brom, we started really slow again. So there is a pattern there. There is a pattern. I think though, if I said in the last video in the West Ham game, I don't want to come on here and just be negative. So let's look at the positives. It's 3 points tonight without playing fantastically well. We've already got more points now than we did at this same point last season. Last season, I'm sure we finished with 66 points. So we're on course, unless there's a massive collapse, and we're not bang on for the top four at the moment. You'd hope we wouldn't collapse, capitulate, whatever word you want to use, but you never know, and especially with the season being the way that it is. But we are now the top scorers in the league, but we've got the 10th best defence. So that just tells you everything that you need to know, really. And had we gone out in the summer and got a new centre back, things might have been different. We don't know. Um, I like Lindelof and I like Maguire. I think, but I don't like them together. And I'm sure I'm not the only person that's said that this season. I'm definitely not the first. I don't think they have enough of a presence. Um, sort of, I don't think they. I don't think they have enough of a presence. I don't think they dominate the penalty area. Um, I think other players sense that there's a fragility about that defence. I thought Maguire was at fault for that first goal. It was a poor header, but I'm not going to analyse that too much. I can't say much more than that. It was a poor header, but it is what it is. And I thought from that point, Newcastle did grow in confidence, and I do. I know they're fighting for their lives right now. They're in a relegation battle. Some people say, "Oh, they're not in the relegation zone." No, Fulham are in good form, and Newcastle are slipping. They're slipping. Looked like they were doing okay recently. That big win over Southampton, but then they lose to Chelsea. They lost to United tonight. That can happen, but they were positive tonight. So I don't think you can criticise their performance too much, but obviously results are not good enough, and I do think they're on the way really. I can't see any other outcome for Newcastle United, but they were positive in spells tonight. I thought Shelvey looked lively at times. I thought they handled United really well in the first half, but once United got that, and to be fair, the response was really good after the first goal, after the Rashford goal. The response was really good, but once the second went in, Manchester United just sort of took control. And you would expect that given the difference in quality, but I'll take nothing away from Newcastle in terms of effort and performance, and they have been more positive recently. They have tried to attack games. They played okay against Chelsea last week, but again, it's the quality. There is a gulf in class, but they are in big trouble. But as far as Manchester United are concerned, I think now, we're second in the league. We're level on points with Leicester. We're 10 points behind Manchester City. We've got them in a couple of weeks. Next 3 games in the league, we've got Chelsea away. Not got a great record there. I know we've done okay over the last couple of years there, but not got a great record there. And they've got that new manager bounce. So even though we've got a really good away record this season, so we seem to do better on the road than we do at home, even though our home form has improved then. Crystal Palace, that'll be a tricky game. Of course, they beat us on the opening day of the season, so want to put that to bed, get 3 points there. But again, it's not an easy place to go, and it's Manchester City. Now, ideally, I wanted to go into the Manchester City game sort of 7 points behind them. But if we go into that game 10 points behind them and we can beat Manchester City, which is, again, it's not an easy place to go, is it? Even though we won there a couple of times last season, I don't know. If we get down to 7 points, you never know. Then maybe they slip up 4. I think they've still got to play Leicester as well. Who Leicester beat them 5-2, but that was that was early in the season, and City hadn't clicked into gear. But they have clicked into gear, and you have to sort of give them credit. I don't like watching Manchester City, not because it's a United and City thing. I just don't enjoy watching them. I don't like the brand of football. I find it really boring to watch. That sort of, I never liked watching Pep's Barcelona teams either. That sort of pass. Keep the ball for as long as you can. I know from I've always viewed it as obviously you're pulling other players out of position, and other players are sort of disorientated, and then you get it. But I just don't enjoy. I don't enjoy watching it, and I don't buy into the hype really. But that's another video for another time, and I don't want to get into that whole debate about Pep being a great coach, because he is a a really good coach, but has he ever done it from? Has he ever had to rebuild a team? Has he had to? So you can. This is like a. But while I'm on the subject, Jose is having a torrid time at Tottenham at the moment, but you have to give Jose credit because he did it at Porto, and he did it at Inter, won that famous treble, with that sort of journeyman squad. That's a fantastic achievement. Yes, he did. He achieved things at Chelsea and Manchester United, but he had probably more. He probably had more financial backing, or the bigger clubs, aren't they? So it's kind of expected there. Whereas Inter are a massive club, a huge club with a huge history, but the circumstances are completely different. So Jose's done it, and of course Porto winning the European Cup with them was fantastic. Klopp, Dortmund, I've said it myself before. Germany is basically a two-team league, but it's Munich just dominate that league. So Klopp did it at Dortmund, had success there, and you can see Brendan Rodgers as well doing at Leicester. He doesn't have huge financial backing. He doesn't have all the tools at his disposal, but my criticism of, and I have done it now where I said I wasn't going to do it. My criticism of Guardiola is, he has always had all the tools at his disposal. He always inherits squads that are they're ready built, aren't they? And then he just has to add a few additional. So the job is always easier for him. Look at the players he had at his disposal at Barcelona, and it wasn't a Barcelona team that was struggling. He didn't have to build them from the ground up. So that's my criticism of Guardiola, and that's why, as good, and he's a really good coach, as good as he is, he's had a lot of help, he's had a lot of backing, he's had a lot of support. Never had to go in and change the culture of a club. He's never had to do a rebuild multiple times. So, but I don't even know what my original point was. I don't even know how I got onto Guardiola, because I know I kept saying this is a video for a different time, but that's my feelings on Guardiola. I just don't buy into him being one of the greatest coaches of all time. I don't. I look at other managers and what they've, and the finances that they've had at their disposal, and where they've begun and where they've ended up, and it's an interesting debate, and it's one I'm happy to have, but I just don't buy into it, and it's nothing to do with him being the Manchester City manager. I'm not going to sit here and say they're poor, they're awful, they're a very good team, they're hard to beat. I just don't like watching them. I think that was my original point, and then I just went for it. But back on to this, United today, Manchester United have beaten Newcastle United by 3-1. Goals from Marcus Rashford, and then Bruno Fernandes with a penalty, and then Dan James got the third goal for Manchester United to wrap up this game and give United 3 points. Newcastle, I would be worried, I would be concerned if I was a Newcastle fan now, as good as they played today. They have a lot to do. And with Fulham now putting this run together, it's 7 points in the last 3. They're, correct me if I'm wrong. They are, and I'd written Fulham off at the beginning of the season. They were the sort of whipping boys, weren't they? And there was a moment they had a game against Everton and they lost 3-2, and I thought they deserved something from that game, and that's where I saw something in that Fulham team. But sometimes you think, oh, maybe, yeah, whatever. Okay, you played well, but you lost 3-2. But the results against Liverpool, that's and it's just sort of slowly they've built this momentum. Consecutive draws, and now they're turning those draws into wins. Big win against Sheffield United. So it's all to play for, as they say now. So that's going to be interesting, and maybe I'll do a match reaction video to the next Fulham game, to the next Newcastle game, because things are heating up at the top of the league in the race for the top four. I think the title, you never say never, but for me the title's done, and it's all about the European places now. It's all about the bottom of the league now. Those are the things that need to be sorted. But thank you so much for watching this video. There's a bit of a ramble there, but I feel like I haven't done one of these for just over a week. As I say, I went to stay with my parents and I didn't have everything with me, and I just thought, you know what, I'd need this bit of time to just catch up on a bit of reading, do a bit of writing, catch up on my movies, watch some football, and that's what I've been doing. But I'm back now. And until next time, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't done so already, why not subscribe? Leave a like if you haven't done so already. And of course, leave any thoughts, comments and feedback on the video. Thank you to those 2 new subscribers. I don't know how you heard about the videos or what your thoughts were, but thank you so much, because small channel, new channel, but I appreciate everyone that gets involved. But until next time, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all soon.